everybody, and welcome to the Empire Let's Play series. My voice is sounding quite a lot better than it was last week, and I'm feeling much better as well. I appreciate all the nice comments and kind words. Today, we're going to do a bunch of fun stuff. So one thing we're going to do is we're going to finish up our new village. We're going to add the third section, and that will be that. We'll move some villagers in, and it's going to be awesome. The other thing I want to do is I want to name it. We want to add some names to our villages, and we will update our map to reflect that. But to start off today, I think I want to spend a little bit of time on this bridge. So you can see this bridge is very long, and it is perfectly diagonal, just zigzags back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I want this to be about as wide as our road, about 5 blocks wide. And I want this deck portion to be about 3 blocks deep. So right now we got 1, 2, 3. So that's how thick the bridge will be all the way across. Between episodes, I gathered up a lot of deep slate, and that's primarily what I want to use as the structural component of this bridge. So you can see I have some in my inventory, and then I've been collecting some in here as well. So to start off, I think I might do a time lapse and just see if I can use this deep slate to kind of lay out our bridge deck. Well, that is basically a whole chest of deep slate. We got the bottom layer in, and we got the second layer in. I realized that the center area is not going to be visible, so I started just filling it up with cobble. And then there will be a third layer that will actually be the part that we walk on. So we'll definitely need a little bit more deep slate to mirror what's going on here. And then for the top, the edges will be deep slate, but we'll use the normal stone like we're using for the road, so it ties in nicely. And then once I figure out the length of the bridge, we'll have 2 big tall pillars that will do some of the supporting. And I'm still kind of toying with the idea of either a suspension bridge or a cable stayed bridge, something like that. I think it's going to be pretty epic once it's done. Already that looks a lot more substantial, so pretty cool. Next up, we are going to turn our attention to our village. We have built 2 of the 3 sections, and the last section is going to be kind of right up here. up on that little hill. And so I think it's going to be among the tallest portions of this village. And there's a lot of golems around here. So, yeah, it'll probably be visible from over here, from the front. We should be able to see it. You know, kind of poking up next to this building here. So here we have the first section, and these villagers are coming along. All right, and then on the other side of this wall, we built the next section. And here you can see these villagers are all doing their work as well. The only one who we haven't moved in is the potion brewer because we don't have the materials for that. And then we're going to build these buildings up here. So we've got our place for them to sleep. We'll have a building here, a building here, a building up there, and a building here. So 1, 2, 3, 4 buildings. There we have the third section of our village. So once we come up the hill here, we're going to have our sleeping quarters. We're going to have a librarian. We'll have a fisherman. We'll have a cartographer and a mason. And a couple of these buildings are a little taller, and one of them is real tall. And I think it's going to look very cool on our skyline. Once I have all 4 villagers here and they've taken the jobs, then I'm going to start knocking these walls down. And right here, this kind of center section, that's where I'm going to put the bell. And that way all 3 sections will kind of have a central area where they can all congregate. So from out here, that structure is really, really tall and looks really great. And from out here by the bridge, it looks really cool as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at our maps here. So if we pull that one off, that, I think that basically going to do it. So there is our village. You can see here the road comes up like this, splits and comes up here. This is just where I have it blocked off. And then we have our second section and now our third section. See, while we're talking about maps, let's put the name of this village on the map. And this village, we're going to have to call Coltrane. In case you don't remember, we're naming all of the villages either geographic locations or jazz greats, so Coltrane is appropriate. I'm going to grab our map, and let's put the name of the village around the back so it's kind of out of the way. Let's put it back here. And then we'll tap the map on it. Coltrane. That is fantastic. So next thing I want to do is something a little weird. I want to make another sword. Just iron is fine. The sword we've been carrying around is a sword I designed so that we could get the most out of our zombie farm. So it has Smite 5, Unbreaking, and Mending. And that way, when we use the zombie farm, they get killed pretty quick and we can get lots of XP. I'd like to make another sword to use for our cows. And I want to put fire aspect on it. And I want to put fortune. And that way, whenever we go and get leather, we'll get steak. And we'll get a lot of it. So let's take this new sword and let's run back to Mingus. And we'll use our zombie farm. Get lots of XP and see if we can put some enchantments on the sword. All right, we'll tie up our horse. And then let's run down to the zombie farm and get a bunch of XP. Ultimately, what I would like to do is leave this sword down here so it's just always ready to go. And the same with the cow killer sword. We'll just leave it over by the cow farm, and then whenever we need to get leather or steak, we'll have a sword to do that. And then we should probably start using our mace a little bit more. Just a little bit nervous about it because it's a new weapon and I don't want to lose it or get killed. But yeah, the mace is a cool thing, and so we should really start using it. Okay, we've got 35 levels, which I think is going to be hopefully enough to get some enchantments. Let's run back up to our enchanting table and see what we can do. Okay, run up here and cross our fingers and hope we get some good enchantments. Let's see, if I put the sword in there, what will we get? Unbreaking. Okay, let's see what happens here. Sharpness Unbreaking. That's not the end of the world. All right, let's take a chance and re-roll on the sword here. Unbreaking again. Sharpness 4, that's better. And then what do I get on the book? Riptide, Fire Aspect, Impaling 2. Well, let's do the Fire Aspect. And then Sharpness, Knockback 2, Unbreaking, Fire Aspect. This one's going to be cow killer. And then can I put sweeping edge on my zombie sword? Costs 8. Okay, so that's a pretty good zombie sword. We've got our sweeping edge on there. The cow sword is not bad. Still needs mending, but that'll do a good job of killing the cows. Just for funsies, let's run back down to the zombie farm and give it another try here. That works. So I'm going to just leave this sword here, and then it will be here whenever we need it. Can't believe they still haven't fixed this. They released a couple of updates, but yeah, this is still not right. You know, based on the number of pumpkins and melons and the amount of iron in the iron farm, I am not convinced that our chunk loader actually works. And I don't know if it's only on like multiplayer worlds where that's a thing, or if it's supposed to be single player. It's happening, but it's just not happening very fast. Okay. We're getting leather. We're getting cooked steak, which is great. Really, the only other thing we need on there is maybe looting and mending. Let's go ahead and head back to Coltrane and see if our villagers are all grown up. That is a pretty awesome view from down here. All right, this side is all populated except for our potion brewer. There's one unemployed villager that's just walking around. And once we have the blaze rods to make a potion stand, we can get this guy a job. All right, we got a cartographer. We got a fisherman. We got a mason. And a librarian. Fantastic. So we've got all 4 of our villagers here, and they all have jobs. So I'm going to go ahead and tear down these walls, let all of the villagers mingle, and then we're going to put a bell right in the middle of the village. So here it is. We walk up to this nice street here where we've got a whole bunch of villagers doing their thing. At the end of the street, goes up a little bit. There's our bell. We've got a little lower area here and then an elevated area up here. And it's pretty awesome. I love the change in elevation. I think the windy streets and everything look really, really good. And yeah, with a village this big, my concern was that people were going to get lost. They wouldn't be able to find their jobs, things like that. So by doing it in sections, I think we perfected that. They're all near their beds. They're all near their workstations. And it's going to be great. There are a lot of golems, and I think it's because there's a lot of villagers. They don't all see the golems, and so they keep spawning them. Some of them are outside of the village walls wandering around, but I don't mind. They kind of add a little bit of ambience to the village, and it's kind of fun. The copper looks really great with the dark oak. Diorite looks really nice. Some of these signs, I kind of want to switch out for maybe oak or spruce eventually, just to vary it a little bit. But yeah, I just love that elevation. That looks so good. Fairly certain everything is spawn proof. We've got lights throughout the village. There are buttons on top of the roof. panels to keep things from spawning up there. I think we're going to be pretty safe over here. Like I was saying earlier, once we get through the holidays, we will resume the live streams and get more work done on the road and get all of these villages connected together. Next episode, we'll do a little bit of trading with our villagers, and we'll probably get some more work done on this bridge. I think it's going to be a really awesome looking thing once it's done, so I'm excited to get more work done on that. As we build these villages, I keep coming up with ideas for things I want to do in between them, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun and really, really interesting once we get it all constructed. And I think that's where I'm going to wrap this one up. If you want to be like these folks and help support the channel, click join down below. Membership starts at 99 cents, and it really helps me out. And thanks for watching. I hope you had fun. Please like and subscribe if you want to follow along on the adventure, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.